Hey YouTube subscribers, how y'all doing today? It's your boy Mike Granger, but y'all can call me MG5, you know what I'm saying? And hey, welcome back for another video. Welcome back for another sports video. So pretty much, what these videos are going to be about, it's just going to be sports videos, you know what I'm saying? Just to elaborate on it for y'all real quick. It's just going to be me talking about sports. I'm not going to just cover one category, not just boxing or not just the fight game. We're going to cover all sports. We're going to talk about football. We're going to talk about the NFL and college football. We're going to talk about basketball. We're going to get into the NBA and college basketball, and then, like I said, MMA, not just UFC, but the whole MMA, you know what I mean? Boxing, you already know, soccer, baseball, hockey, and so on and so forth. So this is just really going to be, a sports channel, and I'm gonna just be giving my thoughts, my predictions, and breaking it down just like a sports analyst would, so hey, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and let's get straight into it, man. Let's get straight into it, because I got a lot to say about this topic. I mean, obviously you guys can tell by the cover of this, you know what I mean? You already know what we're gonna be talking about, and this video right here is going to be about boxing, obviously. And yeah, we just going to hop straight into it because, me personally, I feel like this fight right here, you know what I mean? This fight right here, will bring boxing back. This fight right here will bring boxing back. You know what I'm saying? This fight right here will bring boxing back. You always hear people say that boxing's dead. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's because the best don't want to fight the best no more. But with this fight, you have two fighters in their prime, you know what I'm saying, in their prime, and they're gonna be fighting for it all. You know what I'm saying? And that fight would be for undisputed at 147. It would be for all four belts, you know what I'm saying, for all four belts. So yeah, this is a true big fight, and this is a super mega fight, not just a big fight. It's a super mega fight, and like I said, in my opinion, I believe this fight would bring boxing back. The whole boxing community is jumping, whether you're a fighter or you're a fan. You really want to see this fight, and the casuals want to see it too. So we definitely got to see it. But let's just hop straight into things. We're talking about. I mean, y'all know what fight we talking about. We're talking about the WBO champion Terrence Bud Crawford versus the IBF, WBC, and the Super WBA champion Errol the Truth Spence Jr. Yeah. We talking about this. This is the fight right here that I believe will bring back boxing. And not only that, this is for undisputed. And I truly do feel like the winner of this fight will be the true #1 pound for pound king. The winner of this fight can say, I'm the best fighter in the world, so let's just get straight into it. I'm gonna talk about both fighters, I'm gonna break down both of their fight style, and I'm gonna give my predictions on what I think would happen if these two were to meet. They're both actually my favorite fighters to watch, so I really can't wait. But pretty much I'm gonna just break it down, give my predictions, and yeah, we all know that styles makes fights, so let's get straight into it. And we're gonna start this one off with. Let's start it off with the WBO champion Terrence Bud Crawford. He just got done fighting on December 10th. And it was a good showing by him. I knew he was gonna wash that guy that he fought. You know what I'm saying, David Amvicenia, or my bad if I mispronounced his name, but I don't even know, bro, like that. I just knew Terrence Crawford was gonna wash him. You know what I mean? So, this fight with Errol Spence Jr., I think Crawford, to me, some of the advantages that he will have going into this fight, I believe he'll be the more athletic. He'll be the more athletic guy between them two. I think he'll be the quicker fighter on the feet and with the hand speed. I think Crawford's footwork will be better than Errol Spence Jr. So I think from like an athletic standpoint and from like a movement standpoint, just a pure boxing standpoint, like tic-tac for tic-tac, I think Terrence Crawford will have those advantages over Errol Spence, and then his ability to switch, from orthodox to southpaw, I think is something that will give him a little advantage in this fight too, because he can start off fighting Errol Spence in an orthodox stance and then switch to southpaw, just create a different angle and, mess with Errol's rhythm and stuff. So, I think those certain type of things Terrence Crawford's ring IQ is very high. You know, this would definitely be like the smartest fighter that Errol Spence has stepped in the ring with. Just his awareness, you know, his ring awareness is like, yeah, it's second to none. You know what I mean? His IQ is very high. And another thing about Terrence Crawford is he's a great counterpuncher. You know, he's a great counterpuncher. He's not only like a good boxer, you know, he's a great counterpuncher. You know what I'm saying? So I think when you're sitting there and you're boxing with this dude or exchanging with him, you gotta think about those things and be cautious. Like, okay, this dude can, you know, he can counterpunch me and really hurt me. But I think the biggest tool and the biggest attribute that Terrence Crawford's gonna have in this fight versus Errol Spence Jr., like, I'm not even, you know, I mentioned his footwork, his hand speed, his boxing ability, because just tic-tac for tic-tac, I think he is a better boxer, just pure boxer than Errol Spence, you know what I mean? When we're just talking about just boxing, you know? But the main attribute that I think Terrence Bud Crawford will have in this fight will be, you know what I'm saying, that killer instinct. That killer instinct. Crawford has that killer instinct, man, like, where he hurts you, he'll get you out. You know, I know we call, Errol Spence Jr. is the big fish, but Terrence Crawford is literally like a great white shark, man. Like, you know, the moment he gets you hurt, he'll get you out. And don't get me wrong, you know, I'm not saying that, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Errol Spence ain't a killer, but it's just Errol Spence is more like he's a killer, but he's more like a technical, he'll break you down throughout the rounds. You know, Crawford, the moment he'll hurt you, he'll get you out. He'll get you out. So I think, you know, that's something that Crawford's definitely going to have, that killer instinct, man. It's just once he smells blood, it's pretty much over. You know, he just turns into a different animal pretty much. And I think, you know, once he smells blood, you know, it's over. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you know, but I think Terrence Crawford, to me, he has the skill set to beat Errol Spence. I just think, you know, he has to stay disciplined, because one thing I've noticed about Crawford is if you hit him with a good shot, he'll get undisciplined to get you back, you know, and I've seen him get hurt before doing that. So I just think in this fight versus Errol Spence Jr., he's definitely going to have to be disciplined, because I think some of the disadvantages that Crawford's going to have is he's not going to be the bigger puncher in the ring. You know, he's not going to be the stronger, natural, bigger guy. You know, he's not going to be the bigger puncher in the ring. Usually when you look at Crawford, whoever he fights, he's usually the bigger puncher in the ring. Well, in this fight, in this instance, he won't be. So I just think he has to stay disciplined throughout the whole 12 rounds and, you know, just really box with Errol Spence. Don't try to, I mean, you can fight him, you know, brawl with him at some points, but don't make it no bar fight, man. You want to make this a tic-tac boxing fight, and I think Crawford can get him. But yeah, you know, ever since Terrence Crawford. Oh, another thing is, we all know Crawford, 3-time weight division champ, 135, undisputed 140. Took the WBO strap from Jeff Horn and never looked back. So yeah, man, you know, I think Terrence Crawford, I think, you know, this is actually a really 50-50 fight, man. This is a real close fight. I think if Crawford stays disciplined, you know, I think he'll be fine. He'll be good in this fight. But, you know, let's talk about Errol Spence Jr. You know, let's talk about Errol Spence Jr., man, the big fish. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about him, the holder of 3 out of 4 belts at the 147 weight class. You know, since Errol Spence took that strap from took the IBF strap from Kell Brooks, he's never looked back. You know, he beat Sean Porter for the, I believe it was the WBC, and then he beat Ugas for the WBA. So, yeah, you know, Errol Spence, you know, he's real at that weight class. He's taking each belt from each champion. You know, that's real work right there. And in my opinion, I think Errol Spence Jr.'s fight game is very underrated. You know, I think he's very underrated because his fighting style is more like a strategic numbers thing. You know, people don't look that deep into, like, his fighting style like that. But Errol Spence Jr., his fighting style is a more strategic numbers thing. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like... you know, what I mean by the numbers thing is, for example, Errol Spence Jr. does not start off slow. You know, he does not. And that's one advantage he's going to have in this fight, because Crawford's going to start slow. Errol's not. Errol doesn't he doesn't take time to, you know what I mean, just the most boxers take time to download information, to read, you know what I'm saying? But while they're doing that in the beginning rounds, like 1, 2, and 3, they'll only throw like 15, 20, maybe the most 30 punches. Spence doesn't do that. While he's reading you, he's throwing 50 punches. From round 1 up, Errol Spence Jr. is throwing 50 punches. He's throwing 50, 60, 70. He's like a fight night character, man. And that's where the numbers come in. Because, you know, he's a pretty big welterweight. You know, he's not small. He's a big welterweight, 5'10", probably weighs about like 180 something, you know, or maybe 175, something like that. You know, you know what I mean? He's a big welterweight, you know? So that's where the numbers game comes in. Think about it. For 12 rounds, if we fight 12 rounds and I'm a bigger, natural, stronger guy than you, and we fight 12 rounds and I'm throwing 50 punches a round or more, think about the numbers. That's 800 punches, just throwing an estimate number out there. That's 800 punches or more per fight. So if I'm throwing 800 punches at you per fight and I'm a harder puncher than you, I hit hard. You know what I'm saying? I'm throwing 800 punches at you per fight. 300 of them are going to land, or 250 going to land. 70 going to be to the body, you know, and I'm going to just break you down. I'm in great shape. That's one thing that Errol Spence Jr. is. He's always in great shape. He fights at a high pace, high pressure. You know what I mean? His combinations ain't like, oh, look at the combination. They're nothing like fantastic combos. They're just basic. You know, they're just basic. And that's another thing. When I interview and talk to fighters, or just when I hear about Errol Spence, I hear that, you know, everything he does is not like, you know what I'm saying? It's not fancy. It's just basic and very fundamental. He mastered the basics and the fundamentals of boxing. You know what I mean? Or at least with his craft. You know, I hear that all the time, man. When you hear stuff like that, like I even heard from like the great Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. You know, when you master the basics and fundamentals, then your skill set will follow. You know, so when you do that and you work hard, oh yeah. And that's something that Errol Spence Jr. has. You know what I mean? He's mastered the basics and the fundamentals. You know, whether he's pressuring you or his combinations, his select punching, going to the body, just everything. Like he looks like he's just doing normal stuff out there, but you know, it's all strategic and it's all a numbers game. So, you know, I think Errol Spence, his pressure and his pace, the way he fights, just being the bigger, stronger, natural guy, and just being the harder puncher. You know, y'all can even go check out Sean Porter on his podcast. I don't know, I forgot what episode it was, but he even said that Errol Spence Jr. was a harder puncher than Terrence Crawford. You know what I mean? He said when he got rocked and dropped by Spence, he said he was hurt more. But the difference was Crawford had that killer instinct. The moment Crawford hurt Porter, he got him out of there. You know, the moment Spence hurt Porter, he just kept doing what he was doing because he's a technician. He'll break you down throughout the rounds. You know what I mean? And people try to deny like Spence don't hit hard. He don't hit hard. He don't have no power. Like, come on, bro. The dude's broke like 3 eye sockets throughout his whole career. Like, how y'all gonna sit here and say he don't hit hard? He's breaking another man's face. He hits hard. You know what I mean? He hits hard. I don't have to do much studying or look up much all I got, you know, that dude broke Kell Brook's eye socket. He broke Ugas' eye socket. Like, come on, man. He's out here breaking dudes' faces. Like, he hits hard. So Errol Spence Jr., I feel like the advantages he will have in this fight will be just being the bigger, natural, stronger guy, and his pressure and his pace and just the way he fights, his fight style, man. It's like a car crash almost coming at you because he's just coming straight at you, just throwing, unloading. And another thing is, too, I do believe Crawford's the better pure boxer, but I do believe Errol Spence has the better jab. Errol Spence's volume jab, I feel like he uses his jab, and it's a better jab than Terrence Crawford's jab. You know, Crawford's jab is more like a distance range finder and a setup something. Errol Spence is throwing his jab out there like a volume jab. You know, he wants you to think about that, and here he comes with the body up top. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at him throw combinations, it ain't nothing like spectacular combos like, oh, look at his combinations. Did you see it? Nah, they're just basic fundamental combos, but it gets the job done, you know? So, yeah, you know, that's how, you know, I broke down both of their fight styles right there. Some of the disadvantages I believe that Spence will have in this fight, obviously the car wrecks he's been into, the major one he was into a few years back, and he just got in one recently, like 2 weeks ago. You know, I just think mentally and physically that can mess with you and have a toll on your body, and especially the way that he fights. You know, that dude, he already fights like he's getting into a car crash already. So it's just like, So, yeah, you know, I think that right there. And Spence, he does keep his head on center line at times. He doesn't have fast head movement, and he doesn't have the quickest feet either. So I think those are some disadvantages that, you know, that I could see Crawford having over him. But, you know, my final predictions on this fight, if they were to for this fight to happen, man. I really thought this fight was going to happen at the end of 2022. That was my predictions, but I was wrong about that one. Hopefully we get this fight in 2023, you know, the summer or towards the end. This is the fight that would bring back boxing. We need this fight. You know, if we don't get it, it's like a crime or robbery, man. We really need this fight. But my final predictions, you know, I truly do feel like, you know, if Terrence Crawford can stay disciplined and box him and pull a page out of Floyd Money Mayweather's book and just, you know, box, master the range and distance and counterpunch Errol Spence, you know what I mean, and be on his toes the whole fight, I think he could win. But if he gets undisciplined, the moment when Spence hit him with a hard shot and he gets undisciplined trying to exchange with him, I think that's where he'll fall into Errol Spence's trap, you know, because I think IQ, movement-wise, I think that's something that's going to be a problem for Spence. But if Crawford falls into that trap, you know what I mean, and this turns into a bar fight early or to a brawl, I think Spence is going to get him, man, just the way how he fights. You know, his styles makes fights, and I just think Spence being the natural bigger guy, I don't think Crawford's ever fought a guy like Spence, and Spence has never fought a guy like Crawford. But Spence hits really hard, you know what I'm saying, and he's in great shape. And the numbers add up. You know, people don't think numbers don't lie. Look up the numbers of Errol Spence's fights if y'all want to. Look at the stats. I'm not lying about it. Bro really do be throwing like that. But my final predictions on this fight, you know, don't get me wrong, y'all. My predictions could change. But I got Errol Spence Jr. winning this fight by split decision or with a late stoppage. I just feel like he'll catch Crawford and he'll hurt him towards the end and it'll sway the judges in his favor. And I just think styles makes fights, you know, and I think Crawford being undisciplined the moment he gets hurt or the moment, you know what I'm saying, I think that's going to catch him in this fight. But that's all I really got to say about this one. You know, y'all let me know what y'all think about it. You know, comment, subscribe, you know, leave y'all opinions down there. And yeah, you know, until the next video, you know what I'm saying, to the next video. And oh yeah, just to give y'all little details about myself, you know, I am from California, you know, I am a hooper. So anybody out there with the hoop dreams, don't ever give up. Just keep hooping, keep hooping, keep hooping. You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm making these YouTube sports videos, you know, because, you know, I plan on continuing my education next fall and to get my bachelor's degree in communications. And to be real, you know, I see myself continuing my basketball career overseas somewhere, wherever that goes, or, you know, Sports Center, ESPN. Y'all better watch out because your boy MG5 is coming. But anyways, hopefully y'all like the video, subscribe, and make sure y'all stretching and hydrating. And I'm out, y'all, you know. Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's.